Hi, my name is Chandler. I am the executive editor of Annenberg Media, along with.
Hi, my name is Erica Her, and I'm also an executive editor at Annenberg Media. In preparation for election night and election week, Chandler and I held a lot of meetings throughout the month of October in order to make sure that everyone was collaborating and on the same page.
We had coverage across radio, TV, social, and web. And so most of what I was doing is coordinating that coverage, making sure we had editors and producers in the right roles, making sure that there were reporters and volunteers working on all of those desks. But we did actually have the opportunity to have a small group in the Media Center for election night.
Approved by LA County, of course. So they were social distancing and doing production in person.
I was one of the co-hosts, one of the anchors for our live election coverage. It was incredible because we hadn't been there since March. And we sat down at the desk. We had both of our laptops with following AP, Associated Press, and just what was happening. The tape started rolling, we went live. And that thrush that I felt the second that we said,
it is finally election night. Polls are closing right now on the East Coast, and we're coming to you live.
I want to live that feeling forever. It was seriously incredible.
We had a live broadcast from about 5:30 to 11. Unfortunately, our broadcast cut out.
We had to think on the spot. We had, the election was still happening. But again, that's what happens in a live newsroom. We rolled with the punches, and I think it was a great experience.
We are back, and we are live with election coverage and the latest news that we can give you.
And then for our radio show, we had two about half-hour-long shows at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
Good evening, and welcome to Annenberg Radio News special coverage of election 2020. From Los Angeles, I'm Carolyn Cusero.
Both of those were also, rounding out election coverage. On the web, we had a ton of different stories leading up to election night. For social, we were following all the swing states and calling the elections when AP was calling them as well.
During the day on Tuesday, I was working on an election story, but around sports, since I'm a sports anchor. We were talking to some athletes and some coaches and just kind of doing a story about what voting means to them and what civic engagement means to them. And at night, during our nighttime election coverage, I was covering Biden supporters.
So another vertical within our newsroom is DMello, which focuses on covering news for the Latinx community in USC, South LA, and the rest of the US.
Hola a todos, it's Emily Bonilla again, Dímelo reporter, and tonight I'm going to be reporting live updates.
And some really cool coverage that they did was regarding Latinx voters and the importance of them throughout the election.
This was actually my first semester on the politics desk. On election night itself, I was in charge of the print stories relating to the election. We're looking at the presidential race as well as the senatorial races, some of the key ones that went on, and just working with our writers on that day.
Another big part of our newsroom coverage is obviously the visuals, and we had a lot of student editors who helped out with that.
As the arts director, what we do is we kind of create a theme throughout the broadcast in terms of the graphics that we create. So any infographic that you see or any chart or map, it's something that we do and what we have our creative mind towards. And then I also wanted to play around with the vote on 2020. So for one of the graphics, I just have this circle and repeated dots, and that kind of represents all the ballots that are coming in. And seeing, my designs of the map and of all the things that we were covering be on screen was also really, really impactful for me.
Since the race wasn't called on Tuesday night, on election night, we did do a lot of follow-up and a lot of continuing coverage for races that hadn't been called.
We spoke to students in Michigan and Wisconsin about what it's like living in a divided state.
Many Gen Zers voted for the first time this election. Some USC students shared how they felt before Election Day.
And then, of course, we tweeted when the election was actually called.
It really made us feel like we were kind of in the big leagues with everyone else.
I'm extremely proud of the content that we produced on election night, and we all came together, gathered in this very difficult situation with COVID and online classes, and we were able to produce an amazing show and some amazing work across all of our platforms.
That wraps it up for this Tuesday night and for our live election coverage of Vote 2020.